What's going on, guys? Janik here. It's the middle of March and most of the world is stuck in a quarantine. So that means jiu-jitsu's done, circuit training's done, and what we can do in the meantime is obviously train at home, obviously try to keep our immune system safe, but we can also start creating systems around our dysfunctions and our injuries to try to make them better for when we come back. So today I'm going to run you through a 3-part system on how to optimize your joint or optimize an injury that you have. Today we're going to use the shoulder as the example, but this kind of system works for any kind of dysfunction or any kind of injury for the most part. So guys, we have a 3-step system. Number 1 being myofascial release. Number 2 is passive inputs to just get some feel good through our body. And number 3 are active inputs to really solidify the new ranges or whatever we're going to. Now, FRC is a perfect system for those active inputs at the end. Basic static stretching or dynamic stretching is good for that second part of just passive inputs. And we're gonna firstly go over myofascial release. So if we look at our shoulder car, for example, and we find that somewhere along our shoulder car, we get a bunch of coupling. What we can do is go into there, and yeah, we can do pails and rails and blah, 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 but we can get in there with the softball and start to get a parasympathetic response out of the muscle and tissue back here. So we're gonna go to the wall here. Is it going?
Yeah.
So we're on the wall here, and we're gonna use our shoulder as an example for today. And even when I go through this, because of getting Kimura so many times in jiu-jitsu, I really get like a bunch of coupling when I go here. Now, for me, taking the ball and just slowly letting myself melt in that one certain spot to try to get a relaxation effect out of my muscles really helps me get a little bit more movement through my shoulder car. Now, I use my shoulder car as an assessment tool to see where exactly in my circumduction of my shoulder am I limited. Once I find that spot, I can start to address it with myofascial release. Now, I'm not just gonna go here and start jamming the ball up and down crazy. I'm gonna find a nice spot that has a tight spot. You can call it an adhesion, whatever. The debate can go on and on about if this works, but as a system, it definitely does work. And I'm going to just get that parasympathetic release, fight my fight or flight response by relaxing, digging into the muscle. And within 2 minutes to 4 minutes, I'll get like a pretty good release, and also like my brain will connect to the fact that, okay, there's a bunch of tight shit here and it's limiting my shoulder range of motion, okay? All right guys, so now that I've softened up, I've got a nice parasympathetic release out of that back portion of my shoulder. I can go into passive mobility. Now, passive mobility would refer to any of these kind of T-spine regions that you see all the time. Right, maybe like a lying down shoulder car. Anything that kind of gets that area moving. Maybe an open and a circle. I mean, the list goes on and on. You can grab a foam roller, T-spine reach. We could head back to the wall for one of my favorites, which is just a nice shoulder car where I let my hip and my shoulder turn out and I come back in. Now, what these passive mobility drills do is give your body the opportunity to actually open up and be like, okay, oh, I'm tight here. Okay, I'm gonna take my time through here, and we can slowly start to articulate. So the whole like static stretching or these like slow dynamic movements don't work. I mean, they do work, but in context. They're not gonna fix your shoulder for forever, but they will help you identify how to stretch and how to move through that area, okay? Once we're done our passive mobilities, we can move into a more active mobility. All right guys, so we just did our myofascial release. We got some passive mobility and to feel good and to feel out where our muscles go. Now, this is an example of a level 2 controlled articular rotation, and it's a perfect example to kind of see exactly what the process is behind here. Now, there's so many active inputs. There's, controlled eccentrics, there's protraction, retraction, all these things that will get my shoulder blade moving in different ways, and these are all great inputs, okay? An active input is something that you need to work hard for, okay? And we're gonna choose this level 2 shoulder car because it just shows kind of a great example of what we're trying to do. So we used our shoulder car first to assess our shoulder range. We did our mobility, we got some feel-good passive stuff in, and now we're gonna go in and try to really isolate that area that was tight. So for me, it's back over here with my shoulder car where I get all that coupling. So I'm gonna push this stick to the floor, irradiate maximum tension throughout my body, and I'm gonna go into a shoulder car. Reaching up into flexion, flipping my head past it, and moving extra slow and articulating that internal rotation extra slow through that sticky spot. As I come around. Now this is an active mobility drill. That's why it's so hard and I'm creating so much tension, because I want my body to remember this, and I want my body to work hard through it. The harder my body works through a certain mobility exercise, the more I can kind of imagine that I'm pressing that save button for my body, and my body's gonna remember that. Okay, so that's just a slight example, guys. If you need some more stuff, hit me up online, hit my DMs. Fuck yeah, now good luck with your stuff.